So for today's video, I wanted to explore a slightly different side of Warsaw. So when I first came here, it all felt very kind of alien to me, I guess. And I wanted to really give my apartment the feel of home. Now, I'm a bit of a geek. I'll be the first to admit that. I love science fiction, I love fantasy, comic books, that kind of thing. So I wanted to find places that could help me to explore this interest. So I'm going to take you around a few places in Warsaw that I found that help with this particular part of my personality. So one of the first places I was recommended was the one behind me, which is called Centrum Pop Culture. And I have to admit, I think I spent something like 1,000 zloty when I went there. I was buying various figures and statues and books and things to kind of help decorate the apartment and really give it more of a feel. So of course it has like all your manga type stuff. I was able to get some Transformers stuff there. Batman, Dragon Ball Z, all these random things. But let's see if they'll let us take a look inside. So, of course, another common pastime is board games. Now, you have a number of places in Warsaw to buy board games, of course. This place in particular stands out to me. I mainly went here because a friend of mine was in a Magic the Gathering tournament a couple of years back. And the staff were very helpful. They had a good range of games. And, some of those were in English as well. It's kind of a cafe, so you can kind of play some of the games, I believe, in store. So it's a kind of a good meeting spot and, definitely worth a look. Okay, so I ended up lucking out, unfortunately. Generally, the stores that I went into didn't really like the idea of being filmed inside. Ah well, their loss. But to add a few other points about that board game place I went to, it's no longer a cafe. I'm guessing COVID kind of killed that. So effectively, it was good. They had a nice range of stock in there. In terms of English games, I think I better point out, they do actually have a lot of board games in Polish and some English versions. Now the English versions are basically kept at the back, so you have to ask for them. And funnily enough, they cost a bit more than the Polish versions, I'm guessing due to import taxes and such. But still, really value stores like that. Now, I do have a few other mentions of places where you can get memorabilia or games or that kind of thing. So you can try to go to places such as Empik. For those in the UK, Empik is basically like WH Smith, or pretty much how WH Smith used to be. So you can get board games, computer games, comics, books. Very little of it's going to be in English, but they sometimes have an English section. Most of the computer games you buy here are in English. Well, they're multi-language, so that's not really an issue. Other places that I have found figures in places like Schmick. Okay, it's a kid's store, but hey, it depends what you're collecting. But if you're like me and you collect a bit of Transformers here and there, then for sure it's you can find some of the latest releases. And another really random place that I used to go to is Carrefour. Again, toy section there is not bad. But on the whole, you know, it feels a bit weird trying to find kind of like, you know, geeky stuff here in Poland. It's all pretty mainstream here anyway. A lot of people into a lot of different things. I found that, you know, they grew up watching slightly different cartoons and stuff than, you know, us over in the UK. They watched a lot more Dragon Ball Z. That's certainly a lot more popular here. Sailor Moon is very big here with the girls, I noticed. But, you know, like Transformers, I don't think anyone's really seen it much except for the new films. Of course, Batman and stuff is popular here. It's popular everywhere. They do have Comic Cons over in Poland as well. Sadly, with COVID and everything at the moment, I haven't really had a chance to go to one, at least not yet. The costume, well, okay. So I've worn this once, and it was for a little Halloween do I had in the office. Luckily, I was able to persuade a few other people to dress up, but you know, this is what Halloween should be for. But I hope it's given you a little bit of an insight into, you know, if you're a geek in Poland, you can be catered for. There are places you can go, things you can buy. You know, keep that kind of kid inside you alive, as I keep telling myself. And for sure, like, it's part of myself which I, you know, maybe at times I grow out of it. You know, maybe I don't read comics so much these days. Maybe I don't really play with the figures. I just like to have them as decoration. You know, maybe I don't play as many games as I used to. But for sure, it's part of who I am. It's, you know, part of my imagination at play. So I don't like to kind of let that side of myself go, really. And I always value people that can share in these kinds of geeky things. But okay, so perhaps this is a little bit less about Poland, a little bit more about what you can buy in Poland and some of the shops here. But I hope you enjoyed, I hope you found it insightful. For sure, more content to come. It's just kind of being randomly thought of as I go. I can't do the Batman voice, unfortunately. It kills my throat whenever I try. But, you know, the costume surely proves that I fight crime. Actually, I don't really need to fight crime. The police here are too efficient and scary. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching. More to come. Stay tuned. Do zobaczenia.